Yes, people, man, we're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. I hope everyone is doing well, man. Chat, we got a lot to get into. A lot. Where have I been? Why is there barely any streams lately? Rodrigo, Isak stuff. Oh, yes, we're going to dive into it all. We're going to dive into it all. We're going to kick it off with, though, Eddie Howe's press conference. He spoke about the Alexander Isak situation. By the way, chat, we've not spoke about the Isak statement. We got a lot of news. Hence why we're going to be live for a good well over an hour today. We got a lot to discuss, a lot to digest, a lot to just a lot of stuff, man. I've missed my community, man. And I can only apologize for the lack of streams. It's been poor. But yeah, do expect the streams to now officially be coming back daily. The streams are daily now on the channel again. So make sure you're hitting that like button. Make sure you're subscribing to the channel to stay up to date with the latest Liverpool content, and not only that, football content. I need to change the title actually because I forgot we need to speak about Rodrigo as well. So yeah, we need to change that. Bear with me while I do that for you all. But yeah, while you're doing that, make sure you hit the like button. Tell me how you all been, man, because we got a lot. We got a lot to discuss. So yeah, let's dive into it. Let's big up the chat first of all. Big up Reacts is back. Big up Jacob. Big up Reacts, I'm good, mate. Hi Reacts, how you been? I've been good, mate. Same for you, man. Score prediction for Monday, I reckon 2-2. I reckon a sending off. But yeah, let's dive into it then. Let's dive into it all. This is what Craig Hope has had to say, people. Eddie Howe on Alexander Isak, who will not play for Liverpool. Isak's statement was a sad moment. My preference is these things do not happen publicly. They are better dealt behind closed doors. Why is that, Eddie, man? Why is that? They are better behind closed doors, but must Newcastle's statement. The club has spoken, and justifiably so in that moment. He's contracted to us. He's our player. My wish is that he would be playing on Monday. He won't be, and that's regrettable. But 100%, I want him back in a Newcastle shirt. Well, funny enough, Eddie, mate, he's not going to be a Newcastle player for very much longer. This deal looks like it's going to happen. It does look like it's definitely going to happen. And yeah, it's going to be absolutely beautiful when this deal does eventually happen. Yeah, I'm well, man. I'm well. Liverpool won through Prison FC won, you know. But yeah, let's get into Fabrizio Romano's updates for you then, because he has spoken a lot on the Alexander Isak situation. We've got Guehi stuff to even discuss. There's so much to discuss. It's mad. It is absolutely mad. Like the amount of stuff that's happened in the past 4 days, and we're going to dive into it all on today's stream. Now, let me pull it up from Mr. Romano. Let me bear with me, people, while I find this. But yeah, there's been a lot of updates. We've had the Isak situation of his statement, and yeah, we've had a lot of things. And Eddie Howe saying this in his press conference. Eddie Howe and the Isak saga. It looks like it is coming to an end, or it will come to an end pretty quickly. So, is he indicating a sale? Because that's not what Isak. That's what Isak wants. He wants a sale. And Craig Hope has produced a 20-minute video on why Isak changes forcing Liverpool removed have changed. Let's listen to what he's had to say.
As you can see, it's
let me know if you can hear this, people.
Clouds gathering over Newcastle scouting HQ over my shoulder there, and that is quite metaphoric, given it is
big up the chat
now where Newcastle are scrambling to find not the replacement for Alexander Isak, but the one striker, the one.
What do you mean? How I know it's going to happen?
That they've known you had to do since June. Now, I'm going to insert at the end of this, probably recorded back at home, where I think
Yeah,
we are
we're on
with
8
that.
likes.
That
Let's
could
try
have
and
a
get these
couple
up
of
to
big
20, mate.
updates on Norwegian strikers who may
Make
or may
sure you're
not be
hitting that
coming
like
into
button.
Newcastle. So I'll save that for the very end. But for now, I'm going to bring you the latest on what was said inside there today with Eddie Howe, the latest on the Alexander Isak situation, who right now isn't training behind the trees. If we turn around and we stay here in the rain for the best part of 2 hours, we'll see Alexander Isak driving in as everybody else is driving out. He remains in exile. That's self-imposed exile. He is not going to play against Liverpool on Monday night. And the situation hasn't changed. But saying that, everything has changed since we last spoke because of the bombshell statement on Tuesday night. On the back of that, and I'm going to have to walk here, guys, so I'm not going to get wet. On the back of that, there's been a hardening of the club's, tricky word, hardening of the club's stance. Now, all summer, Newcastle have
Yeah, chat, if you are new, make sure you're subscribing.
open to exploring the possibility.
We're going to try
now that's
and get
been
40 more
evidenced by
subs
their
this
pursuit of
weekend.
João Pedro.
We're so
Liam
close to
Delap, Benjamin
2.2.
Sesko, Hugo Ekitike. Now, if any one of
So yeah,
those
make
four
sure you're
players had come in,
subscribing and
coupled
make
with
sure
the
you're
replacement for
liking.
Callum Wilson from,
Because
let's call it the
I do
big
apologise about the lack of daily streams. I really, really do. From today, you're going to see a stream every single day. Every single day.
list. Well, yeah, Isak's sale to Liverpool. It
But yeah,
might
big
have
up to
happened. It may
you.
have
53
happened.
of you
Now,
inside,
on
man.
Tuesday night, on the back of the club statement,
Like I said, a couple of the reasons why I've not streamed is I've had a lot of family issues going on, man, and work issues. Zia, big up yourself, mate. You're going live, aren't you, at 7:15? Make sure you go live then, because I'm going to send you the redirect, my guy, to make up for yesterday. But yeah, let's get into the video. I hope you're well, my guy, anyway.
That Alexander Isak will be told he is going nowhere. Yes, in part motivated by market dynamics. They're struggling to bring in one striker, let alone two. But I think there was disappointment with the nature of the statement. I think there was a little bit of anger. And on the back of that, the message back was, Isak now, he is absolutely going nowhere. Now, could he still be sold to Liverpool? Could the deal happen? I would never commit to saying absolutely not, given there are 9 days of this window still to run. I do believe that Liverpool, having come this far and having clearly given a certain degree of encouragement and instruction by extension to Alexander Isak, they're not going to just walk away from this. I still do believe they will return and test the...
To be fair with Craig Hope, I know a lot of the Newcastle journalists are coming across in very much positive ways for the fans. Craig Hope is very unbiased, in my opinion. He's not doing a Luke Edwards, for example, and saying, oh my God, Liverpool will not return for a bid. They have no interest. No, because Craig Hope has hair, that's why. If you notice, all the people that are chatting bollocks, they're all bald. Is it just a coincidence?
Try and
big up to my G's with hair, man.
Offer for Newcastle to consider now, but as they said in the club statement, there are conditions of sale. And the conditions of sale that would have allowed them to explore that or consider that were the two strikers coming in Liverpool returning with that acceptable offer. Now, none of that has been...
Big up to Anne. Anne, I'm gonna after this video, I'm gonna explain, man. But yeah, chat potentially might be a vlog on Monday. I'm going Newcastle away. I've got my Stone Island out ready to go. And yeah, we're ready for it because I know there's going to be scraps on Monday.
Met so far, the club statement from Newcastle did leave the door ajar slightly to that. Now, if all of a sudden Newcastle signed two strikers and Liverpool returned with £150 million plus, would Alexander Isak go in the final days of the window? Yes, I think he probably would. But the odds on that happening now, guys, are so remote. Remote was the word being used to me on Tuesday before the statements had dropped. I've spoken in percentages around this all summer, haven't I? When I was out in South Korea and Singapore, given everything I was exposed to then, I was talking in terms of 70-30, Isak going to Liverpool. That was because I knew Newcastle were looking for those strikers and I knew of Isak's desire, his wish, and Liverpool's want to. So those three things to happen, yeah, it was possible, and that was, to a degree, the eventuality everyone was working towards. Now, the longer time went on, those odds receded. By the time we got back to the UK, I was down to 50-50. Then it flipped to 70-30 in the other direction over the weekend when Newcastle ran into trouble with Johan Wissa, when other targets came and went, when the big ticket players from list A, they just weren't possible. None of them happened, and there weren't any players left on that very top list, barring perhaps Gonzalo Ramos. But the information on that for a while now has been an extremely difficult deal to do, unlikely to happen. So given all of that, coming into this week, yeah, it was 70-30, 80-20, even 90-10 in terms of Alexander Isak staying at Newcastle. Then, when the statements dropped of everything I've just spoken of, I honestly think now, guys, we're almost certain that he does stay a Newcastle player, even though that window remains open. Now, Eddie Howe did say in there with us today, it's a lose-lose situation for Newcastle, quite a telling quote. Now, what did he mean by that? Well, lose-lose in that he either leaves or he stays against his wishes. Now, I understand why Eddie say that. There is the third scenario, and this is scenario A. This is the scenario in Newcastle in which they win, really. Lose, win, if you like. And that is that Alexander Isak stays and he is reintegrated into the squad. That was a question I asked of Eddie. He said he's seen this so many times before with players where they can have a change.
How can he be reintegrated, though? Because Alexander Isak looks like a man of beliefs. Alexander Isak looks like he's a man of principles, right? He is basically going back on every single part of his word of his statement. In my beliefs, I can't remember what he said word for word, but when he mentions about this story cannot continue, the relationship cannot continue. He looks from listening to him, from watching him, from just the way he comes across, he looks like a man with beliefs and principles. He'd be going back on all of his word. Why would he put out a statement for a week later to say, nah, that statement was all a load of rubbish, I was just drunk? What are we doing here? He's going to be a Liverpool player. He is. And I do think it's going to be one of those ones where it could be done on like near enough deadline day, I will be honest. Because why are Newcastle still trying to buy strikers? Why are they still trying to buy strikers? Big up, man. We've got 60 people inside. Pause. 60 of you watching. Make sure you're hitting that like button, man. We're 12 likes away from 30. So let's try and hit 30 likes if we can on today's stream. Newcastle journeys, you know. Needs to be a nasty atmosphere when they come to Anfield, bro. Imagine if Isak is actually playing for us then. I mean, I'm going to the game on Monday. I don't know how many. I think there's only a couple. Yeah, we're only taking a few thousand. Right up at the top as well. Thank God. Could you imagine if we was like right in the bottom of the stadium? We'll have things thrown at us. It's a good job we're right at the gargantuous top. I'm literally on like the second to row back as well, so which is kind of calm. So I'm not gonna have, a flipping can of Coke flipping dashed at my head or a 50p coin. Do you know what I mean? But I do think it's gonna be nasty. Hence why when I get to the stadium, I'm going straight in. Like I'm not doing no pre-match stuff because I reckon it's gonna be nasty, man. It's gonna be nasty up there. The ticket wasn't even that expensive as well because I got it from someone who's obviously a season ticket holder, so it wasn't even that expensive. But if there's any scraps and stuff, I'm going to record and post it. But yeah, man, 70 of you inside, hit the likes. Make sure you are subscribing if you like Liverpool content. And not only that, football content.
They can change their mind if there's a change of circumstance. Now, the big change of circumstance here, which is going to be upon us in 9 days' time, is that the transfer window closes. And if Alexander Isak is still here with that move to Liverpool or wherever it may be, just if he wants to be anywhere but Newcastle, knowing that isn't going to happen until January at the earliest, what does he do? I really don't think, and the guys on the inside really don't think he's going to sit.
No one cares. Why show me ads? Yeah, I know I can run. Thank you. Oh my God! No one cares about flipping mango passion fruit.
And play here.
We do exclusive at McDonald's exclusively for fat people, but who
Yeah,
cares?
the under 21s.
Just
Every
let me
week.
listen
Not
to the
in
video.
World Cup, yeah, not at the peak of your powers, not at a club where bridges haven't been burnt with regards to Eddie Howe and his teammates, not where he would come back in and be welcomed, as Eddie Howe said the other side of that wall this morning. I spoke about the door to Liverpool being slightly ajar, the door to Alexander Isak coming back into
I know,
squad
man, I know.
is massively ajar, wide open.
No,
Someone pushed the gate.
I was signing up. No, this is no joke, Guehi. I was signing up for it last night, yeah. And as I was typing in my bank details, I was like, I'll do it in the morning. But now I'm gonna do it tonight, man. I need YouTube Premium.
Let's use this. So there's open, yes. So that's the gate to Alexander Isak coming back in to Newcastle. It's what everybody wants inside the club. I've committed.
I'm going on train, mate.
And this, well, yeah, there's the slim little possibility. Could he squeeze through there and make his way to Merseyside before September the 1st? He could. All options are still at play. All options have been at play all summer. So when I did the live show the other night down in Mail HQ, they gave me my own TV studio, which was very nice. When I was asked the question from the Liverpool fan, could he still join Liverpool? I said yes. And I was later asked the question by a Newcastle fan, do I think he will? I said no. So that's where we're at now, guys. And coming out of, I was going to say out of there, looking at the wall isn't great.
Yeah, if you're doing hopping backstage tomorrow, we'll go backstage on a YouTube. Obviously not go live, but on like a StreamYard thing. And I'll help you out, my guy. Or I'll just ring you on WhatsApp.
The video, isn't it? But the other side of that wall is the press conference centre.
Big up the chat, man.
This morning, I didn't really change my mind on that.
Now, want a funny story about me going to Newcastle? Go on, lad.
One point, which I see has gone round the world as these things do, and has been misinterpreted to a degree. Now,
to be fair, I was talking to a bunch of scousers on the bus.
Spoke of broken promises
on the way home
and trust being lost.
Funny enough.
Eddie was asked inside this morning if,
and so two of them were Evertonians,
Alexander Isak had told him that he wanted to leave the club. He wanted to quit the club. Now, Eddie said, yeah, I'm not going to deny conversations took place. Now, that wasn't him committing to, yes, Alexander Isak told me he wanted to quit. But also then on the back of that, I think some people have interpreted it as, there you go, broken promises. Eddie and Alexander Isak had that conversation. He was told he could go. No, that wasn't the case. That's a misinterpretation. Eddie was admitting, because he doesn't want to lie, he never wants to lie. He was admitting to those conversations taking place without committing to the nature of those conversations. Well, I can tell you, and I've reported this all summer. I said this again in the live show on Wednesday night. Newcastle knew coming out of the season Alexander Isak wanted to go. He had communicated that to them. So that's me. That's my information. That's my take. So, yeah, but I don't believe any promises were made. At no point to my information, and I've had this from every level of the club in terms of my sources, at no point was Alexander Isak told, be it in May, June, or going back to last summer, yeah, you can go. Absolutely, you can go at the end of the season. That was never the case. Now, they may have said, we're going, yes, we understand your wishes, as the club statement on Tuesday night revealed. It said, you know, they are open and understanding to a player's wishes and wants. Now, yes, that may have been communicated to him. And again, by the way this summer has played out, Newcastle looking for those replacements to satisfy the conditions of sale. Yeah, they have listened to Alexander Isak. They've tried. That is one of the best tools they've got in this. They can turn around to Alexander Isak and say, we haven't kept you here against your will. We haven't forced you to stay and said, you know, you just go and rot in the reserves. You're staying come hell or high water. They have looked to explore those other options. So when Eddie said that inside there today, he was admitting to those conversations, but at no point should it be interpreted as, yeah, we said you could go. Now, it's stopped raining, so I'm going to have a walk back across the road, just so you've got Scouting HQ in the background there. You never know. Might shout out the window and ask if I've got any suggestions.
What the hell?
Now, what was my take on the statements on Tuesday night? I've been pretty consistent on this, and that I've always said I think there's been an alternative way that Alexander Isak could have gone about that. Eddie Howe said as much himself this morning. Now, what do I mean by that? I'm okay with Alexander Isak wanting to leave Newcastle. I understand it on sporting and financial grounds. We can't routinely refer to him as the best striker in the world as we have done, and he is one of the best strikers in the world, and he then cannot be paid that amount accordingly. So his desire to double your money, like, you know, if that's on offer at Liverpool, to take him from
Just let him go. Let me get into some of the comments, man. You haven't streamed lately. You still friends with Uncle and that? I was on the phone with Uncle earlier, actually. We're doing a stream tonight. Uncle knows my reasonings as to why I've not streamed lately. But they're back from today. That's all I can promise. Smash the likes to 50. Yep. But yeah, again, and Deco from the footballing side. If they sold Isak, then it will help them massively with PSR. Bun Newcastle, man. I hope they suffer with PSR. Footy, I bought a ticket once for Newcastle away, eh? Went to get it sold on. Why? I would never sell a football ticket, me. Reacts, you go home and away. You went Bournemouth game too? Yeah, I went to the Bournemouth game, yeah. Yeah, I went to the Bournemouth game. Do I go home and away? I try and go to as many Liverpool games as I can. Like last season, I went to 19 games. Obviously, a uni student and that, so obviously it's actually financially difficult to go home and away. Obviously, you have to pay for the trains and all that if you're going to away games. But yes, I'm going to Newcastle. Yeah. Yeah, I went to the Bournemouth game, went Bilbao, and that so far this season. If you count Bilbao this season, could you imagine? Yeah, big up Reacts. Hope you will. I got a Oasis ticket, 3 for 400, offered 900. Wow. Now, if I was doing something like that, then yeah, I would. Then I would do that because the profit is insane. I saw, man, that's mad. Mad. But yeah, let's listen to what weird pause this is. Big up Rodrigo, man.
Somewhere around 130, 140, 150 to double it. You can do the maths. I understand that. I think that motivation is fair enough. I think anyone in any walk of life would be forgiven.
Yeah, big up the chat
for feeling that. There's then the sporting side of it. So when he talks about broken promises, don't forget when Alexander Isak communicated at the end of last season, coming into summer, he wanted to go.
No, I'm not a season ticket holder, but I know. But I'm a member, so I go to all the Carabao Cup games, all the FA Cup games, and then I go to a couple of Premier League games through that. And then when it comes to away games, it depends if obviously how the balloting system works, if I'm actually valid for it. If not, if there's a certain game I want to go to, I'll message someone that's a season ticket holder and they're not going to the game, they'll sort me out with a ticket. So yeah, I'm gonna try. So there's 38 games in the season. I want to try and do. I think my all-time best in a season was 22. I want to try and maybe beat that this season. Well, it's going to be 2 out of 2 on Monday, so we can do it.
That was on the back of 3 wins.
I'm going to Burnley. I'm definitely going to Burnley away.
There was no training ground. There was no stadium.
And the derby.
Structural developments he thought would take place, coupled with ambition with regards to investment in the playing squad. And yes, there's PSR.
Because one of my uncles is an Evertonian, and he's going to the game. So
what I've spoken about.
Yeah, that's going to be funny.
About the soft
promise. I'm going to stay at his house.
From the previous corners, then when Paul Mitchell came in and said, no, that is the crux of this. But I've spoken about that.
But yeah, big up the chat, man.
That must be
Let's try and get to 50 likes.
As a knowledge bank, a base of understanding on this. That was
I do still think we'll sign Isak,
all of this 12 months ago. But there was an alternative. So what is that? If
I'm trying to get a statement
earlier in the summer,
a lot.
Instead of
Liverpool top 6 games are very hard to go to.
Nothing but respect from a team.
They're very hard to go to.
Eddie, for the
supporters, top 6 last season, out of home and away, and we went to 2 out of the top 6 games.
Self-awareness, but then said, "I think it's time to move on." I honestly think there would have been.
I went to Chelsea at home and Tottenham at home.
From you guys as supporters.
No one cares. No one cares, love. Wow, you can shake your hair about whoopee. Bloody. Oh my god. Oh, that's a horrible
Protect
drink
your dog
as well.
From fleas and ticks with an easy to give.
Well, I currently don't have no dog, so unfortunately.
The disappointment is the manner in which this is played out. In the statement on Tuesday night was disrespectful, I thought.
I'm going to sort it tonight.
It then was very accusatory It spoke of broken promises and relationships and trust lost, but it wasn't specific in that. So on the back of that was guessing games as to, has his relationship with Eddie Howe broken down? Is Eddie Howe the man who was guilty of broken promises? Now, that absolutely isn't my information. My understanding is that if there's any broken relationships or broken promises, it's with former employees of the club. So yeah, the statement left it so
Your pub
open-ended
looks
and
quiet.
allowed more noise to develop and left Eddie Howe having to deal with another press conference this morning full of Alexander Isak questions when they've got a huge game in 3 days' time against Liverpool. Goodness, I say this every week, we'll get to talking about the football, and what a game, what an occasion that promises to be. But Eddie said he was sad. He was disappointed by the situation. Now, on the back of that sadness at Isak doing what he did with regards to the statement, Newcastle did respond.
I'm in the Albert right now.
While, again, Eddie said he's
Anyone want a pint?
all of this be played out behind closed doors, I thought the statement was good. I thought it was
Best
fair.
pub in
I thought it was
Liverpool, by the way.
strong as it
Best
could
pub in
be.
Liverpool.
And again, it left all possibilities open to a degree. While again, I'm not going to walk all the way back to my gate. It did close the gate still further and left us at the point now where yes, I'm absolutely convinced Alexander Isak will still be a Newcastle player come September the 2nd now, increasingly so. But the statement was firm. They had to do that. It was needs must, as Eddie said there this morning, and they did. The key point they made in all of it was, Alex, we've looked at the conditions of sale. We've tried. It hasn't happened. The door is open to come back in and be part of the family, and that is what they're looking at now. Because as Eddie said again inside there this morning, there actually is the possibility, believe it or not, that Newcastle don't get any strikers in. Now, if they didn't, that would leave Alexander Isak as the only striker at the club. They would then have to employ every tactic possible to get him back on board. That is still scenario A. If Newcastle keep Alexander Isak and bring in one other, be it Wissa or a Norwegian or whoever it may be, and I'll give.
Well, they're looking to go and get that Wolves guy now. I can't pronounce his name for the life of me, but there's that the Wolves striker. They want about 40-50 million, so they're looking to potentially get in because it looks like Wissa is not going to be off the cards. What's happening at Newcastle is happening at Brentford. Brentford are like, nah.
That update at the end. Then, wow, they've got an incredible squad, coupled with the business they've done.
Yeah, Larson, yeah.
Even though Eddie said this morning, lose, there still is.
What do you want, Anne, lad?
Still is a win scenario.
What do you want?
As we stand here now, all possibilities are open. This isn't the last video. This isn't the end of it. Now it rolls on to Monday night, where Alexander Isak will not be playing for Newcastle. And telling me as well, Eddie Howe said that he hadn't spoken to Isak since those statements on Tuesday night, which I think just gives you a little indication of where things are right now. So yeah, zero chance of Isak playing against Liverpool on Monday night or down at Leeds the weekend after. Everything now is going to be parked to see how it plays out in terms of does he stay or does he go. So there is a football match on Monday night, and what a game, what an atmosphere it promises to be. When I did my walk and talk Q&A out in Seoul, and I eventually settled with a beer, one of the questions was, what am I looking forward to most this season? I said, forget Champions League, forget everything beyond that. Liverpool v Newcastle on Monday night, the first home game of the season. Wow, what an occasion that promises to be. I've seen some atmospheres and, you know, the level of noise towards the back end of last season in some big games against the like of Chelsea. You go back to a lot of Liverpool matches, even Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League. I think they're going to take this to a different level. Now, the only way to renovate St James's Park is by removing the Gallagher roof. Now, that might well be blown off on Monday night. It could be phase one of the redevelopment, potentially, such as the noise and the intensity of the atmosphere and the colour and the energy inside St James's. I can't wait.
So you went all the way to Newcastle.
Now, what's going to happen?
And you didn't get the ticket.
I'm just going to commit to this. Newcastle will not lose. I think
that's why. If I'm lucky enough, the people I buy tickets from when it comes to away games and stuff like that and spares, they're all like family members and people and stuff like that. I know. So like, I don't get like, what's the word? Flabbergasted. The hope is he comes back and scores. Did Harry Kane know? Yeah, he did a similar thing, didn't he? When he put in a whole transfer request, But Isak's took it to another level in terms of statements, in terms of training at old clubs. Like, this is beyond the Harry Kane situation now where he did that. But we'll listen to what he's got to say in the final few minutes, and I want to bring up this tweet from Sammy Mockbell.
And that was my prediction down in Aston Villa last week. I thought they would come away with a draw. I don't
worry, chat. We also are going to speak about Rodrigo.
If the Amazon cameras were still rolling, I think Eddie Howe's team talk would absolutely be Hollywood box office.
Be right back,
television
though. Smash them
show.
likes. Make sure you are subscribing.
Deliver one of those. If they want an effing game, let's give them an effing game team talks, as he did to much success against Manchester United a couple of seasons back. So, yeah, I just don't think they'll lose. My concerns remain around Newcastle and scoring goals. Look at what played out at Aston Villa. Absolutely. Liverpool are a good team. We understand why Alexander Isak does want to join them. But Newcastle are a good team too. Sandro Tonali, fantastic last week. Dan Burn, wow, Dan Burn. What is he going to do on Monday night? You know, that performance, I cannot wait to see Dan Burn in the first challenge he makes. So Newcastle, they will not lose. There you go. There's the football. Okay, I was going to record this section back in my Gosford abode, but seeing as it's positively pleasant around here now, look at that, yeah. It's even a white cloud amidst the grey in the sky. I'm going to do it now, and this is just a little update on where I believe Newcastle to be now. It could have moved on. If so, I'll put a link in the description below the line. I'll take the very latest transfer piece at Daily Mail.
Shut up, mate. Right, we're going to get into what Sammy Mockbell said. I thought this was really interesting. Nothing can happen before the game between Liverpool and Newcastle, but I'll be flabbergasted if Liverpool don't make some sort of an approach next week for Alexander Isak. Sammy Mockbell saying this. Now, for me, I'm still confident. I'm still confident he's going to be a Liverpool player. I just, again, what Eddie Howe's saying in his press conference, etc., stuff about, you know, the whole situation will be resolved very quickly. Well, how's it going to be resolved? Because he clearly doesn't want to be there. He clearly doesn't want to be a part of your team anymore. He clearly wants to join another football team. So the quick resolvement, Eddie, is ultimately accepting over 130 plus million and him going to Liverpool. That's literally the resolvement. None of this, oh, I think he could possibly stay. He's doing the whole PR thing by saying, I still want him to I still want him to be a Newcastle player, you know, while still having his thoughts and feelings on about it. Like, come on, man. He's not going to be, there's not a world where he is not a Liverpool player. After that statement on Monday night, there's just no way. There's absolutely no way. This is what a couple of other things I've seen. A couple of things on Twitter. Newcastle knew coming out of the season Alexander Isak wanted to go. It is why they have pursued Pedro, Delap, Ekitike, Sesko, players who may have facilitated Isak's sale. Eddie Howe was asked today about Isak telling him he wanted to leave in May, and below is what he said. Do not misinterpret this as promises being made. Yeah, me and Alex had a conversation towards the end of the season. Yes, I am not going to sit here and deny that. I have always said that individual conversations are better off remaining private. But we had conversations at the end of the season. He's basically confirming that he did want to leave. He did. He's basically confirming that Alexander Isak wanted to leave at the end of the season. Hence why they've been pursuing the likes of Pedro, Ekitike, etc. Or the failed to get Ekitike. And players like that. And Wissa and all these players. I think people in the chat just needs to... Oh, yeah, I saw. Yeah, because he knows if he goes to... Isak literally can't go out anywhere in Newcastle. If he wants to go out, he actually genuinely can't leave his house. Because he genuinely cannot leave his house. He goes anywhere, he's going to be asked. Even my mum was to see him, she'll probably flip and ask a flipping question. Oh, what's happening then? Do you know what I mean? Like, come on, man. We'll go from other stuff. Yeah, I doubt that. Some other stuff I bookmarked. Edian, yeah. Yeah, if you haven't seen this, that's a leaked picture. Isak to Liverpool isn't over. It definitely isn't over. Liverpool's saying they aren't coming back in for the strikers. Total nonsense. Facts. Absolute facts. Alexander Isak's relationship is Newcastle's completely broken. What's this? Wait. Idolised and adored. No promises been broken by the fans. We deserve better, and the destructive path you've chosen Newcastle will never be defeated. Joe Linton, like in the post. I can't lie. I would actually think heavily about our lineup. I really would. I actually think Liverpool Slot should think heavily about his lineup. Because I do think on Monday night, it's not only going to be a hostile off the pitch, it's going to be a hostile on the pitch. Like, things will be said between the players. Like, if there's a little scrap, like, I can imagine, like, a Curtis Jones, saying something like, he doesn't want to be at your flipping Tin Pot Club. Or he will say something along the lines of that. This is what Sky Sports Keith had to say on Redmen. Alexander Isak, if Newcastle are able to land Whistle the next few days, I'm expecting a bid in the next couple of days, and Liverpool came to the table offering 130 million. Then Newcastle might have a decision to make. If they were able to find a gem or two in the weeks of the window to go and bring in Whistle, and Liverpool came to the table with significantly higher bid, then Isak will be allowed to go. I completely agree. And this is what I mean. And I think this is how ultimately it's gonna go down. 49 of you in the building, man. Make sure you're hitting that like button. Make sure you're subscribing. Nonsense. We told him we want Isak and Ekitike, but we want Isak so you can take Ekitike, and they tried to be clever. Facts. Yet they're still not saying for sale, but we are trying for them. Wait. Yet they still saying not for sale, but we are trying to sell him. They are okay. It's all PR. They're trying to find that perfect excuse to say, look, there's nothing we could do. They're trying to milk it to the point where it's like they can make this story out to the fans. Say Isak is the bad guy. That's what they're doing. I reckon they would have known Isak would have probably done a statement. Don't be surprised if Newcastle Eddie Howe knows that Isak was going to pull out a statement. There's a lot of things that just don't get played out into the media, and I do think this is going to be one or two of those. Like you've seen now with the conversations at the end of the last season, they're now all coming out. Things do eventually get played out into the media, and that's what's going to be happening more and more with this situation. And ultimately, Newcastle are trying to find that perfect storytelling, flipping. What's that guy, that commentator? Peter Jury, flipping story type stuff. Oh, we couldn't. It's better for the club. We can spend loads now. Look at Isak, he's the villain. Be angry at him. Don't be angry at us. Because at the start of the window, there was more frustration at the football club. And if Isak does become a Liverpool player, I will cook every single comment that said that he won't be a Liverpool player. I had over 500 comments on a TikTok post that was censored. Now, basically, what that means is they're not allowed to get posted. A lot of them was some nasty stuff. This, and that. Each 500 comment, I will bring up and cook each and every single one of them. One's on YouTube. I've got bookmarks for days. We're going to do a special stream on that. And I did promise we will do a 24-hour stream. So that is still going to happen. Isak will be in the stand Monday night with a Liverpool show on signing. He's singing You Never Walk Alone. Yeah. Oh, Jones is going to rattle them. First 20 minutes will be hostile. Then we see what they get once they get yellows. Facts. The referee needs to be on point. I'm sorry. I want a good referee for Monday night. And they need to think carefully about that. I genuinely would not be surprised if I would be shocked if someone doesn't get injured or a red card or something like that. Like, I'm genuinely playing Endo in this game. Get Endo starts this game for me, I can't lie. Gum shield, flipping, batter down on that gum shield and flipping, get ready to rumble. Michael Buffer settings. That's what needs to happen. That statement came out quick, but read like a child wrote it. What, from Isak or Newcastle? Newcastle's statement was in. Do you remember when Liverpool released a statement about Philippe Coutinho in 2017 September, and they said he will not be for sale? That's how you show he will not be for sale. Newcastle, having got the experience, the know-how, the knowledge to deal with this situation, they simply don't. Shearer had a 5-year deal at Blackburn, left Newcastle for loyalty. I would genuinely play players that are going to be up for war, because I do think it's going to be an absolute battle on the pitch. I actually genuinely think we smoke them. In my opinion, if there's no animosity on the pitch, if it's just like a normal football match, like Newcastle Liverpool normally is, because normally the fans and everyone, two great cities, two great clubs. I actually think we smoke them. What the hell are my neighbours doing, man? Flipping tramps. Newcastle are desperate to find strikers, as they know Isak has gone too far with fans. So you forgive him, why have a play if he doesn't want to be there? He's not going to give 100%. I need a Newcastle dub. So yeah, man, what are we doing here? We need to go in as that they do bottling channels. I'll start Leone. Yeah, big up Leone, man. Yeah, big up Leone still. Yeah, big up the chat, man. Big up the chat. We look chat, we're 3 likes away from 40, and we're 36 subs from 2.2. So we're back on that ground. We're back on that road to 3K. Yeah, big up the Saudis and that for boxing. Turkey, like shaking that, but not Newcastle, bro. Come on, man. I meant to be your boy on a heavyweight show. You can't be doing that. Slap the likes, or your verts versus cherries. I see what you did there. Zia, man. I saw what you did with that last comment. You thought I won't clock on, yeah, but yeah, big up to you, man. Smash the likes, innit? Let me go to Fabrizio Romano's YouTube channel. Go to his YouTube channel. I also want to bring up Isak's statement and stuff and talk about it alongside with the Newcastle statement, because obviously we've not had a chance to talk about it on the stream. But yeah, I want to find this tweet from Fabrizio where he speaks about Isak. Let me try and find it for you, chat. And obviously, this is and obviously, look, we know about, what was it, a month ago, Liverpool's opening bid was 120 million. He said this a couple of days ago. Alexander Isak makes his move, and it was always clear since July he only wants Liverpool. He doesn't want to negotiate with any other option with Newcastle, or never considered reports of Al Hilal Liverpool Football Club. He only wants Liverpool. He only wants Liverpool. So this whole narrative that he could potentially stay is kind of beyond, and I don't really understand it. To be honest with you, this narrative that people think he's going to say. Also, by the way, Lewis Kumas has decided to join Birmingham on a long loan. So good luck to him. We also all going to go through the Guehi stuff, because Steve Parsha's given an update regarding him, and also since then, Salah's won Player of the Year. Shock, the GOAT, the absolute GOAT, the GOAT. We also are going to go through Slot's press conference in tomorrow's stream, because I'm going to do a preview tomorrow. We need to start quieting them down. Facts. Big up Scraps, man. He's still cooked, don't worry. Yeah, I saw what you did there, man. Like, you thought I was daft. Nah, man. I saw what you did. Yeah, big up Scraps, man. Hope you will. I like Semenyo as a left-sided player. I don't, man. Any news on Rodrigo? I heard Man City pulling out the deal. We're going to speak about Rodrigo. We're just obviously going through all the Isak stuff because obviously I've not been live for a couple of days. So I wanted to chat with the chat about it, and then we're going to speak about Rodrigo, end it off, and Guehi, and then we'll be back tomorrow. We've got a couple of live streams tomorrow. Actually, we've got the Man City hate along. We're going to do the Newcastle preview, and we're going to do an Arsenal hate along. Sunday, we're going to do a Man United hate along with a couple of also transfer streams over the weekend. So, yeah, be prepared, people, man. If you like the sound of all that, hit the like, subscribe. And also, Newcastle hate alongs for every single game this season, barring Newcastle, Liverpool, because obviously I'm going to the game. So, from then, we will also be doing Newcastle hate alongs. Yeah, hold that. Hope PSR gets worse for you. What do you think of a final as an option? If we bring in Isak, is a good option. Kind of moving slow in the market. What, Liverpool? I just think it just proves the narrative that we only want Alexander Isak. Because otherwise, I think Liverpool would have moved on because they know the season's already started. This is the reason as to why I think we do get him. Liverpool, I know people are worried about the centre-back situation. That's kind of been resolved with bringing in Leone, potentially Mark Guehi as well. I said the same thing about the Isak situation. It's going to take time. It's ultimately going to take time. I genuinely think soon as that game happens on Monday night, full-time whistle's blown, blah, blah, blah. Fast forward 12 hours later, it'll be about 10 o'clock Tuesday morning. From 10 o'clock Tuesday morning, for about 2-3 days, you're going to see a bombers for Liverpool Isak. I genuinely believe that because the window, closes in... Is it the 1st? So, yeah, the window closes a week on Monday. So, we've got about 9 and a bit days. Still plenty of time. Because I think when it comes to the actual deal side of things for Isak, I don't think it's going to be an issue. We know personal terms aren't going to be an issue. Ultimately, it's just about sending the bid in. I genuinely believe by Thursday next week, I reckon by Friday, Isak's a Liverpool player next week. I do. Because I think by then, Newcastle will have no choice but to bring in a player or two. And I think ultimately, and if Newcastle haven't got anybody in, I think Liverpool will fire a bid in anyway. Because ultimately, we're not going to go into this full season with Hugo Ekitike, Mohamed Salah, Chiesa looks like he's going to stay now. And who else we got? Hugo and Angakpo. We're just not. We're just simply not. Absolutely no way on God's green earth are we going to be going into this season with just them. I would be shocked, to be honest. And if we did, I think we have a right to be somewhat angry, despite how the window's been great so far. We obviously still need to bring in a couple of more players. Oh yeah, we got Rio as well, but we can't be relying on him. And this is why I think Liverpool want to sold Luis Diaz if they didn't think Isak will probably be coming. Same with Darwin. Say what you like about Darwin and these sort of players, but ultimately Liverpool wouldn't have sold him if they didn't think we had a chance of bringing Isak in. Especially someone of Luis Diaz's caliber, how important he was for his last season and how important he still could have been. Looks like he's actually doing well at Bayern Munich. I called that as well. Liverpool have paperwork already for money when Newcastle open to bid. I think Newcastle are opening to bid. I genuinely think a couple of reasons as to why they wanted to try and get players in, and they also didn't want Isak playing against them at St. James's Park. I also think that's actually a narrative as well. So I genuinely think this deal will be done by this time next week. This time next week, I would be shocked. Yeah, we have definitely got some Rodrigo news. Definitely got some Rodrigo news for you all. But when I when I speak about Rodrigo, I don't think we get Rodrigo. I think the only world we get Rodrigo if we don't get Alexander Isak. And I genuinely believe that. This is what, obviously, Ben Jacobs did say a couple of weeks ago that Liverpool would be happy to put down 120, 130 on Alexander Isak because they think that's value. Rodrigo doesn't necessarily get the same value because obviously with the money, with the taxes, agents, fees, and Real Madrid, 90 million euros asking price. That's one of the reasons why I don't think we get Rodrigo. Because I think it's a bit like the Darwin Núñez Haaland situation. Do you remember a lot of people was like, why are you spending like 80 million quid on Darwin when you're going to get Haaland for 50? Well, because look at Haaland's wages, look at his agent fees, like everything that comes along with it. It was financially way cheaper to do Darwin Núñez than it was Erling Haaland. Yes, the transfer fee was cheaper, but when you add in the agent fees, the taxes, the wages, and everything else comes in with the package of the deal, it's way more expensive. Way more expensive. I mean, if we go to Man City's flipping wage bill, for Christ's sakes, Man City wage bill. This is how much Erling Haaland is on. I agree. He's on 526 grand a week. Darwin Núñez was on 140 grand a week. And I believe that was after a contract signed. So let's just go back to this date here. Let's just go back to like a season or two. He's on over 375 bags then. Like, not a chance. Not a chance. But yeah, chat, by the way, hit the likes, man. We're 3 away from 40. If you've not hit the subscribe button, make sure you've done so. Chat, should we get into the Rodrigo news then? Because I know the chat want to chat about Rodrigo, so we'll bring up the Rodrigo stuff here. I think we should bring on the Rodrigo stuff. Do you think Real Madrid will agree with a loan deal for Rodrigo if we get Isak deal? Yeah, no, we'll go into the Rodrigo situation for you, right? We'll spend 55 minutes on the Isak situation. Look, I'm going to say this lastly. I think we get him. And I think that statement was very much telling. And I think Newcastle's statement was very much telling that they're not actually still convinced that he was at the football club. That's what my final word is. And I do think a week today, Alexander Isak will be closing in on a Liverpool move. Clip it, screenshot it, do what you want with it. That's just an opinion. Yeah, I've seen. It's kind of mad still. It's kind of mad. Yeah, let me bring up the Rodrigo stuff here then. So this is what's just happened. Just in the idea of Rodrigo getting minutes versus Real Oviedo, he asked Xabi to play left wing, and that will be his role. He does not want to play as a right winger. But who plays on the left? Mini Junior. These are also the reports. Liverpool have entered the race for Rodrigo. From Real Madrid, he's heading to the Premier League. The agents of Rodrigo are currently in the UK negotiating with Liverpool instead of him as a Diaz replacement. Interesting. Do I think we get Rodrigo? I think we get Rodrigo if we don't sign Isak. That's what my opinions are. I'm going to ask the chat. Who are you taking? Isak? No. Do you think we get Rodrigo? Yes. We buy him. We'll put a loan option in there. Loan. And nope. There we go. Start that poll. I'm intrigued to see what you people certainly think. But someone asked, how much is he on at Real Madrid? Real Madrid's wage bill is this. So people that are in, for this Rodrigo situation, he's on 240,000 euros a week, which in pounds, he's on about, that'll be about 200 grand, which if you look at Liverpool's wage bill, giving Ekitike 95 grand a week, I think certainly we would give Rodrigo 200 grand a week. I'm not even worried about the wages, if I'm being truly honest on that sort of thing. But I think if it was a loan, I think we would pay probably 60% of his wages. I think if it was a straight up deal, I think we pay in the regions of probably about 80 million quid, because obviously we know we've got the money there. I wanted to bring up Fabrizio's YouTube channel, because I know yesterday or the day before he did a Rodrygo video. Yeah, let's go into it.
Want to know what grows the economy?
Nope, I don't really care. 15-second ad, you know. Bruh, 15-second ad. Oh my god. Oh, okay. Right, bosh.
Fabrizio Romano here as always to keep you posted.
Right, let's try and find
tonight. Many big
the
stories.
Rodrigo
Incredible
situation.
Isak for Arsenal, but more for Chelsea, Tottenham. Let's see what happens with Rodrigo, Man United, and more. Let's jump into it. We'll try
Possible domino effect, Xavier to Tottenham. Let's have a
for
listen.
Rodrigo Goes from Real Madrid. So that domino is still on. That domino is not over. At the moment, Man City are blocking the deal. But in case Tottenham, especially after missing on the top target, Chiese, decide to go on Savinho, who is obviously a different kind of player, but another top target. It was not Eze or Savinho. Tottenham wanted both. But now imagine with Eze going to Arsenal, for Tottenham can be the opportunity to improve their bid for Savinho and try to get the Brazilian. But let's see if they can reach an agreement with Man City, because as I told you, there is someone in the board pushing to keep the player and saying no to Tottenham. So let's follow that situation for Savinho, and don't forget Rodrigo. Then, guys, one more story. Julio Enciso, the Paraguayan player from Brighton, who wanted to leave, had an offer from...
So he's basically saying that if it's he could still go to Manchester City. He could still go to Manchester City, Rodrigo. All depends on the Savio situation. That is literally the buzzword this summer. Domino. Domino, domino, dominoes. I might just have to order a Domino's pizza at this flipping rate. Jesus. But look, I've not really been keeping up to date with the Rodrigo situation, I'll be honest, Joe. I've not really even seen much about it, barring a couple of things to do with his agent. Now, we know Georgia, obviously, said this that and obviously, this is what LBC Transfer Room said. Nicola has a track record for being inconsistent and nonetheless is not an average person making up stuff, as he's always cited by outlets and invited to big interviews in different channels. So, we'll take him with a pinch of salt. We'll drop him a follow. Do I think he comes? Pause. I genuinely see a world we only sign him if Isak is a Liverpool player. Maybe a loan deal, potentially. But I'm looking at our attacking options, right? Chiesa looks like he's gonna be staying. He looks like Slot and everyone has kind of seen like a kind of a new Chiesa type in terms of in the way of his mentality is at the club. He's actually trying to get into the team. This and that. So I think Chiesa will stay. So that's Chiesa. Mo Salah, we already know, signed the contract. Ekitike just joined. Then you got Gakpo. And I think that's it. We obviously definitely have to buy an attacker. And I don't want to be putting the pressure on Rio and Jaden Dance, etc. I've said this on many occasions. I think like for me, if Rio Ingamo is still at the football club, training with the likes of Mohamed Salah, Ekitike, Florian Wirtz, etc., he's going to get better training with them alone, even without playing football matches. He's going to be playing games anyway. He'll probably play for like the under, 17? He could play for the under 21s, under 23s, whatever he wants. And I think he'll get cup games anyway. I think he's guaranteed all the FA Cup and Carabao Cup games. And maybe with 15, 20 minutes to go, he could come on in a Premier League game. I mean, if we have a look at the Liverpool bench from last week against Bournemouth, he was on the bench. So, again, that's definitely a possibility. But look, it's exciting times, man. We want to be linked with the best players in the world. We want to have a chance of getting the best players in the world. That's what we want. And ultimately, that's going to definitely be the case. But we're sticking with Romano because he's given an update on Mark Guehi, people. Now, this one's interesting. We signed Leone, about a week or two ago. Looks like Liverpool are definitely bringing in another centre-back. Let's take a listen. Is it, putting electricals outside? Yeah. Let's take a listen.
With news, and guys, today we have to enter into many things. It's an important weekend, important hours, important days, and so let's jump into it. Today. And so guys, here we are, updates as usual, news as usual, important hours for Chelsea in terms of outgoings, because incomings, we know that Alejandro Garnacho, Xabi Simons...
We don't care about Garnacho.
Chelsea want to sign. He can play in the position of Enzo Fernandez, but also in a different kind of position in midfield. Direct club-to-club talks to close the deal. Chukwuemeka to Borussia Dortmund. And so let's follow the situation. Also, guys, I wanted to mention something moving to Manchester. Moving to Manchester, first of all, because very clear interview with Andy Mintek clarified that his clear position this summer, since day one of this summer, was to stay at Manchester United. What's happening or what's going to happen. Guys, at the moment, I can guarantee that nothing has changed with Brighton. Brighton maintain a intention to join even without European football. So I don't think it's over for the future between United and Baleba. They will really try. I maintain my position. Now, we have to see if Liverpool and Crystal Palace can agree on a deal with the club. That's very clear. Steve Parish, chairman of the club, also said if he wants to sign a new contract, he can stay. Yes, but Mark Guehi has clear intention to not sign any new deal and to try a new chapter. And that new chapter for Mark Guehi is Liverpool Football Club. I keep saying that. I maintain my position. Now, we have to see if Liverpool and Crystal Palace can agree on a deal this summer. My understanding is that the two clubs are still talking. The two clubs are still in conversation. And the deal for Mark Guehi is absolutely on. Despite signing Giovanni Leoni, you remember what I told you 2 weeks ago. Leoni and Guehi. Guehi and Leoni. And that remains the case. Liverpool want to sign both. Will be able to reach an agreement with Palace? We will see, but the conversation is still ongoing. And so the Mark Guehi deal is on for Liverpool to get a new defender for Arne Slot in these final days of the transfer window. And so it's going to be really important to understand what's going to happen there. Then, guys, many questions, of course, also on the Alexander Isak deal after all the statements from Isak, from Newcastle, all the people trying to understand what's going to happen, guys. I think statements on both sides are part of the game. Now, the important part of the story is going to be if Newcastle will find the two strikers they need in order to give the green light to Alexander Isak to leave and go to Liverpool. At the moment, Newcastle are still working on strikers. At the moment, still nothing agreed. I told you that, for example, in the last 24 hours, they called for Nicholas Jackson. I would keep the name of Nicholas Jackson for Newcastle because interest remains genuine. But for sure, the situation of Alexander Isak remains there, remains absolutely open. This weekend, with the game, it was always unlikely to see the deal happening, but now we are about to enter into the final week, and so let's see what's going to happen with Alexander Isak. For sure, the player maintains his position. He wants to play for Liverpool Football Club. And so, guys, let me know your thoughts on all.
So, yeah, again, he's saying the exact same thing. Interesting what he said about Mark Guehi. Interesting week for Liverpool. When was the last time, chat, we had an exciting week in the window for Liverpool? And again, he said for Guehi, he's absolutely deal is absolutely on. If you've not seen about Guehi, this is what the chairman had to say. If Mark Guehi wants to sign a new contract, then he can stay. It's a difficult situation. Everyone has to sell players completely with the rules. That's a situation that we have to look at in the next few days. I reckon he's basically saying Mark Guehi's going to leave. Mark Guehi doesn't want to sign that contract. Mark Guehi doesn't want to take Crystal Palace. He wants to join Liverpool Football Club. And he's saying the exact same thing for Alexander Isak. I do think we're going to end this window off with Hugo Ekitike, Florian Wirtz, Giovanni Leone, Mark Guehi, Alexander Isak, Jeremy Frimpong, Kirkes, Maradashvili, and let's not forget Mr. Woodman as well. I think that is what is going to conclude as our transfer window. Exciting last week. It's going to be an exciting last week of the window, which I'm excited for. I'm really, really excited for the last week of the window. When have we ever had this as Liverpool fans where we're going into the final week and we're like, oh my God, we could sign 2 big players? You know, it's exciting times, exciting times. Just like this stream has been. 64 of you inside, 8 likes away from 50. Make sure you're hitting that like button and make sure you are all subscribing to the channel. But yeah, definitely, it's going to be an interesting week. It's definitely going to be an interesting final week at the club. Also, we did hear, by the way, Frimpong is going to be out until after the international break. Annoying. But I did see this morning that Michael Elise viewed as an ideal Mohamed Salah replacement by Liverpool buying space. Now, buying space, you could argue they're reliable. Look how reliable he was regarding Florian Wirtz and other deals. So, listen, if we signed Elise next summer or the summer after that, I mean, how old is Elise, by the way? 23. I mean, that's perfect. Perfect for us. 23. By then he'd be, 24, 25. Perfect for Liverpool. Absolutely perfect. And this is why I go back to the point of Liverpool to replace Mohamed Salah in areas. The best player in our team, the focal point around our team will be Florian Wirtz, just like Mohamed Salah was. The goals and etc. will be replaced by Alexander Isak while being with other players that can score goals as well. You know, you don't have to replace Mohamed Salah with a direct Mohamed Salah replacement. You can replace him in other areas of the pitch. Just like, you know, for example, when Villa sold Jack Grealish, they brought in the likes of Marlon, Ings. They brought in the likes of that Argentinian lad from Norwich. I forgot his name. I can never pronounce his name as well. Argentinian, he played for Norwich. Cost him about 20-25 million. They replaced Jack Grealish in other areas of the pitch. That's kind of what Liverpool are going to be doing, the exact same thing with Mohamed Salah. Exciting. And again, I'm really intrigued to see what Giovanni Leone is going to bring. Yeah, Elise would be a fantastic signing. An absolute fantastic signing. I would love it, and I think I deserve it. By the way, Tottenham tried to make approach for Guehi, but he literally said, nah, sorry, I didn't want to go to Liverpool. That is hilarious, man. That is absolutely hilarious that was the case. It would be a fantastic signing. Let me get back into the chat. Strange thing that Kumas has, he was on, so should have gone to another league country. There's no plan B if Isak is coming. I think there will be a plan B. I think there has to be a plan B if we don't sign Alexander Isak. There's not a world in my mind where I'm thinking Liverpool Football Club are going to go into this window, this full season, without another attacker. Like, yeah. By the way, Everton have signed Tyler Dibbling for 42 million quid. You know, 42 million. Wow. Yeah, mad. Yeah, at least it would be a fantastic signing when we signed Verts. We have lost 3 forwards. We need to sign 2 at least. And Bruni brought in Katike and Verts can play up front, but rather 2 forwards. Yeah, we definitely need another forward. One second, chat. Thoughts on the True Geordie stuff? I mean, wild, and yeah, I don't really want to speak about it because it annoys me, and if I'm being truly honest, for what he said, he shouldn't get the light of day for what he said, and yeah, again, man, rest in peace to our boy, man. Rest in peace to our forever number 20, forever rest in peace to our legend, forever rest in peace to our Premier League champion. And again, still condolences and thoughts and prayers are with the family at this tough time. And that's what it should be, and it should remain to be. Because they're never going to get over it. They're never going to get over it. And yeah, you could see his wife clearly emotional going to the Wolves game and at Anfield. It's going to affect her for years because that's the father of her children. So she'll never get over it. And the family will never get over it. And I just hope they have all the support they need. And big up to Chelsea for donating a big part of their... I can't remember what they donated, but a big, large sum to the family, I think it was. So yeah, fair play to them for that. We've lost bodies, but not goals, in my opinion. Kaiser can have the Jota off the bench super sub. But the thing is with Diego Jota, he was the fox in the box. He's the man that could pop up with a goal out of nowhere. One of the best finishers, not only at Liverpool, but in the Premier League. I've always said it for years. A fully fit Diego Jota would actually be a contender for the Golden Boot. And you actually saw that. Like, I think it was about 2-3 seasons ago. Jota was literally only a couple of goals off the Golden Boot, so he definitely had it in his caliber to do so. You know. Let me. How do I set this? Bear with me, people. Bear with me. Right. But yeah, chat, I think it's going to be an interesting final week. I do think it's going to be a very exciting final week to the window. Have you guys seen that Mark Goldbridge now is partnered with the Bundesliga, so you can like watch all the Bundesliga games or something like that. Yeah. For like all the games. Like, that's mad. Like bro, that guy's gonna be making a killing, man. We only need one injury up front. We could struggle. I agree, and that's why I do think we maintain and we still buy it an attacker, sign Isak. I hope so, man. I hope. I hope. What time does actually Bayern Munich game kick off? They kick off in 15 minutes. I might have to watch that. But yeah, big up the chat, man. 4 likes away from 50. Let's see if we can push to end on 50 likes in today's stream. It's been a good hour and 15 minutes, man. 3 subs away from 2,170. So if you've not hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit that subscribe button. we're going to get to. We're going to be aiming to get to that this weekend. But yeah, big up to everyone, man. I will be back tomorrow. We got 4 live streams tomorrow. 4. We're going to be doing the watch along for Leeds, Arsenal, Man City, Tottenham, and 2 transfer shows. So yeah, we're going to go and send you over to my good friend Zia. Make sure you say React Raid. Big up to everyone. And yeah, big up to everyone. I appreciate your love. And yeah, I will see you all tomorrow. Take care. Up the Reds. Isak will be here very soon.